Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of Buried. Now we're going to be continuing, and this time I'm going to be without Facecam. So this is kind of an introduction to the game slash video thing, and we're going to be getting into it. I feel like we're getting into character on this one because I can actually be loud now. So here we go. End of chapter 1. Respect the dead. You and 36% of players left Tony's body where you found it. Secrets. You and 76% of players were up front with Dennis about Tony's death. Trust. You and 55% told Dennis you believed his story. Curiosity. You and 25% of players ran away from the ringing sound. Are you ready? Let's begin chapter 2. We're standing on the thin platform of what looks like a fancy subway. The rails look well used but not old. There are small overhead lights that are very dim, as if they are running on emergency power. The dim overhead lights are a blessing, but the size of the place makes me feel vulnerable. Staring ahead, the tunnel seems to be endless. It's almost dizzying. But there's a small light further ahead, and then a space that breaks the monotony of the tunnel's curved surface. Another platform, maybe? Okay, now here we're on a choice. We're either going to go, why are we in the subway tunnel? Dennis, what do you think this is? Ask Dennis's opinion. Looks like we're waiting for the trains, Dennis says with a deadly sounding cackle. Also, the ringing noise is louder down here. It's much more solid now, and there's some other sound, something like the faint hum of machinery. What's your take on this, boss? You think we're safe here? Dennis asks. Not at all. This is what I think to myself, but I don't want to let Dennis see that I'm rattled. While he seems to be limping along much better than when I first stumbled into this place, he's still in a rough shape. I'm leading him here, and I should probably make him feel confident in that. Another choice. I'm not sure this is creepy. Yeah, we'll be fine. You told Dennis you were scared. I think we can officially say that we have no business here. I continue. If you want the truth, I'm a little frightened. A place like this, buried underneath the woods, well, it just doesn't feel right. I feel like we've walked into a trap or something. My lack of confidence is mirrored in Dennis's face. If he wasn't uneasy before, he is now. From the look of it, we can go either left or right. The left is slightly lit, the right not so much. This makes me uneasy because I get the sense that one wrong turn in a place like this would have us wondering for hours. Suddenly, I jerk my head to the right as I hear an unmistakable sound of someone walking. Did you hear something? I asked Dennis, my ears straining to see anything in the darkness. Not sure, he says. Maybe. It kind of sounded like footsteps. I wait a moment, but the sound doesn't come again. So those are our options. To the left are flickering lights, indicating that we'll at least be able to see there's also a hum of machinery, a sign of life. To the right is just darkness, but we also heard footsteps in that direction. Oh God. I don't know. So, let's go left, where the darkness is. And let's go right, where the, Oh, I don't know this. Okay, I'm gonna say... I don't know, dude. Okay, I'm gonna go left. You decided to go into the lights. It seems smart to stay in the light. Left it is. As we head left, the lights ahead are like a beacon in the dark, glaring us forward. Someone left the lights on for us, Ness says, trying to be funny but creeping me out instead. I wonder if that's a good or bad thing, I say. As we near the lights, I hear the hum of machinery grow louder. What does it sound like any machine I've heard before? As the light increases, I use it to take an inventory of Dennis in his condition. While the bleeding seems to have stopped, the amount of that he's soaked into his pants and shirt is beyond alarming. How much further can you walk? I ask him. Can you keep going? Yes, Dennis says. Let's walk into the deep tunnel that has no business being here. Now fully stepping into the light, I notice that the sound of machinery is growing from the area on the left side that is protected by a guard wall. Wisps of bright blue light dance on the wall as they leak from whatever is below. I also notice a posted sign that says, "Danger, severe radiation poisoning threat." Step closer and look. It's worth taking a look. We walk over to the guardrail and peer down below. This is where that strange hum is coming from. Further down in the dark, there's something that I can only assume is some sort of power generator. Our tanks, pipes, and valves, sure, but there's just something odd about it. It looks like it doesn't belong here. "Hey," Dennis says, nudging me. "Do you see that?" He gestures to the main pipe coming out of the top. As my eyes trace along, it just disappears into a black floating mass. I rub my eyes and look again. The pipe goes up into a sphere, but within the sphere is the deepest darkness I've ever seen, and the area around it seems twisted, almost like a rip in space. I don't know much about what this thing is," Dennis says, "but I don't like being near it." I agree, and we take off down the tunnel again, eager to be away from the pipe and those lights. As we start walking, I notice another structure coming into view up ahead. Reading is not my strong suit here. Let's continue. Okay, let's see here. As we head further into the tunnel, we reach another platform. There's light coming from the platform, but like the overhead lights, they're dim, red emergency lights. I start to wonder if the explosion at the lodging site caused the power outage in this place, whatever this place is. The ringing noise that I originally thought was in my head is getting louder. I'm starting to think it's some sort of alarm. When we come to the large open area ahead in the tunnel, it further resembles a subway station. As much as I try to ignore the reality, it's undeniable. We have stumbled into some sort of high-tech transportation system that is buried beneath the forests of Kentucky. It makes absolutely no sense, and creates an entirely new sort of fear as to what in the hell we have walked into. I notice that Dennis can't seem to stop himself from shaking, his fears mirroring my own. When we reach the large opening, we have to climb over the rails and up the platform. I have to help Dennis over the rails and then up the small utility ladder that is bolted into the opposite side of the travel way. When we reach the large open area resembling a subway waiting area, he collapses on the floor and lets out a heavy breath. "You know what?" Dennis says, exasperated. "This is ridiculous. I quit. I'm not going any further. On top of worrying about my crew and the madness of wherever we are, I'm not in the mood for Dennis to act like a baby." The original thing to do here, I don't know. It depends, to be honest with you. Like, it really depends, like, on the situation you're in. Like, I don't know how I'd react to this. Oh gosh, if I was in the situation, I wouldn't tell him to stop being a baby because I'm scared too. Why would you do that to someone? Okay, that's just humiliating. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say this one. It's okay. Take it easy, you can do it. I'm not this one with a gash in my side, I think to myself, so I decided to cut him some slack. "Dang, boss, I'm sorry," he says. "It's okay," I say. "I don't know how you're still on your feet, if I'm being honest." "Subordinates," he says with a weak laugh. "You need a minute to rest," I ask, as warmly as I can muster. "No. If I sit down to rest, I'm afraid I might not get back up. Let's keep going while I can still go." I reach down, help him to his feet, and then we get ourselves up onto the platform. Right in front of us, there's an entrance to a long hallway exiting the platform area. It's at this point that I realize those red emergency lights might be on for someone else who was actually supposed to be here. Okay. Yell out or stay quiet. Why would you yell out? But even again, if I was in the situation, I would probably stay quiet because I don't like yelling out in places like that. I'm still not sure if I want to tell anyone to the fact that there are strangers in this secret place, and the thought of hearing my scream, even my own scream, in this empty place is too much to bear. The emergency lights continue to flicker overhead, causing a stick sort of pinkish light on everything. My mind is racing with what sort of place this might be. It's obvious that it's meant to be a secret, and it is supposed to be a secret. And there was a power outage recently. Maybe most everyone has been evacuated. Most everyone has been evacuated. While I'm pondering this, a wave of nausea comes over me out of nowhere, and I lunge forward and vomiting all over the floor. "Whoa," is all Dennis musters as he instinctively steps away. My insides feel like they're trying to escape. I put my hand out, looking for a wall to lean on. "Are you okay?" Dennis asks, finally pulling himself together from the surprise. "Yeah," I barely gasp out. After a minute, the feeling subsides. But we're in the room. Where in the heck did that come from? Was it that weird power generator? I finally collect myself, stand back up, praying I never have to feel like that again. "Let's keep going," I say, wiping my nose with my sleeve. We step inside, and it seems just as empty as every other place we've come through. weakly illuminated by more overhead emergency lights. We're standing inside a hallway that looks surreal for a moment. Oh, this is interesting so far. Continue, dude. Let's go. The hallway reminds me of a hospital wing, but there's something not quite right about it. It's the first clean and tidy area I've seen since coming into the woods. It looks like it was recently in use, despite the dim emergency lights overhead. There are chairs against the walls, and the floors looks well cleaned, as do the walls. The ringing noise is definitely coming from here, and a small flashing light along the ceiling seems to flash along with it. That ringing noise is an alarm, I say, if only to confirm my own thoughts. But for what? Dennis asked, and then he asked the question that has been on my mind since we fell in that hole. What the heck is this place? We exchange a look that speaks volume. We reach the end of the hallway and hear a sound like a large metallic grinding. This is followed by a clicking noise and then an unmistakable noise of the generator kicking on. That was a short one. Continue. Oh. Without warning, the facility jolts to life. The red glow of the emergency lights is suddenly replaced by bright white fluorescent ones. That mechanical hum is oddly comforting. Somehow the power being back on urges us on. It's then that I notice the ringing noise has stopped. So it had been an alarm, but for what? Just the power failure? We head down the hallway and the electronic hum of the lights surrounding eerie overhead. Other than that, the place is dead quiet. The hall is about 100 feet long, with two main doors. One door opens into a large room that looks like a conference room with a whiteboard and papers strewn around it. Across the hallway, another door looks like a laboratory of some sort. Dennis slumps against the wall in defeat and lets out a scary-sounding chuckle. Something funny? I ask as a dark and brooding panic starts to grip me. Dennis just keeps chuckling as he slides down to the floor. I'm just gonna sit here while you look around, he says. There's a look in his eyes that reminds me far too much of a dead animal on the side of a road. The lab. Obviously, I'd rather go in the lab than the conference room. Walking inside, I see small vials and glass containers held in a clear glass case. Everything is either glass or instantly feel like I am dirtying the place up. I notice several test tubes in glass cases as well as some sort of tube system that seems to have clear fluid trapped inside of it. In the back corner, I find a laptop in a screensaver mode. I'd rather look at the test tubes. I can't help but check out the test tubes. They're all filled with varying green and light blue fluids. One of them looks to have some sort of glowing dirt resting on the bottom of it. Another holds what looks like a grasshopper submerged in liquid, only it's the strangest grasshopper I've ever seen. At first, it looks like it's expanding and contracting like a blowfish. Then it contracts so much that it vanishes completely. As I look closer, it springs back into existence in a completely different test tube, and I'm embarrassed when I actually jump back. I see a laptop sitting on the one of the workstations and wonder if it's worth checking out. We're obviously going to look at the laptop. I hit the enter key and a plain gray background pops up. There are several icons and folders to choose from. I click on the folder labeled Test 1.5 Ethos. A few documents are filled with most formulas and name I mostly don't understand. But there are some things that are easy to understand, things that could make my blood go cold. Subject number 6, cause of death, embolism or aneurysm, or both. Ideas for new delivery mode. Delivery mode, spherical liquid, induced comatose state first. Pterocorico, possible plutonium spider. I take another look around the lab, trying to piece together what might have been taking place here. I smell some sort of chemical in the air, and it makes me think that someone has used this lab recently. Outside in the hall, I hear Dennis grunting. I head out of the room to see him still sitting on the floor, but I don't get very far because as I exit, a man comes rushing around the corner with an automatic rifle in his hand. Oh god, that's a scary thing to happen. It's hard to look beyond this rifle, but the man carrying it is young, with messy dark hair. His skin is so pale that I wonder if maybe he lives down here. He has the look of a guy who's been cooped up for a little too long. He doesn't seem like the kind of person I'd trust with a gun in a stressful situation. As he sees us in the doorway, he screams and brings the gun up. It is aimed directly at my head. Put hands in the air. The stupid thing to do here would be trying to attack the man when you're not knowing what he's doing. So we're going to put our hands up in the air, like normal people would do. I put my hands in the air, surprised at how natural it feels to go into the surrounding estate. Maybe it's because this feels like a dream. Maybe it's because I feel like I'll snap awake if the maniac pulls the trigger. Who are you, and how did you get here? The man asked harshly before we enter. He continues sparkling. Can answer. He continues speaking. I don't recognize you. If you're here, you would have had to sneak by the security mics in the entrance hall. What? I ask, unable to think of anything else to say. Who are you? The man asks. Did you do this? The man eyes us both, and I see something in his eyes that unsettles me. He is scared, but there is something else. We're lockers. We're not gonna lie. His eyes look distant for a minute, and then he says, "Bull ass." But for some reason, I am pretty sure he knows I'm telling the truth. Someone knocked the power out, the man says. It's back on now, but if it was out long enough, well, we're in a heap of trouble. Was it you who sent you? Look, we don't know what you're talking about, Dennis says. Something happened out in the woods. Are you alone? Are there others with you? The armed man asks, thrusting the gun into my face. How the heck did we get in this situation? I think to myself. If we hadn't fallen into that hole, we wouldn't be here. I'm not really sure if we want to be given this guy information. We don't know anything about him. Then again, he might have answers. We are looking for a crew. We have other crew members that we can't find. I say, your crew, he asks, him confused. If the man thinks that we're nuts, there's no telling what he might do. The fact that he looks a little crazy himself makes the situation even hairier. But how'd you get in here? The man asks. I point down the hall towards the subway. We came in that way. The doors weren't locked. The man's expression calms a bit, but I am still very aware of the gun that is leveled less than a foot away from my face. To add to the stress of the moment, another bout of nausea starts to bubble up inside me, making me dizzy. Maybe going so close to that radioactive machine in the tunnel wasn't such a good idea after all. It takes all I have to not puke and to stay focused on the muzzle in front of me. Calmly asked the man to put it back down. The only way I'm putting this rifle down is after I've blown your brains out, the man says. With that, he sticks the muzzle of the gun in my face. It's a childish move, a playground tactic at best, but it's insufficient to show that he knows he's in control now. He then levels the rifle at Dennis, and I can only assume it's because his wound makes him appear to be weaker of us. The aim takes a shaky step forward. Man. Dennis looks back and forth between the barrel of the gun and the eye. His eyes when you up. Dennis looks furious and terrified at the same time. His eyes are going wide, and I can feel the rage coming off of him. I know I should do or say something that might make the situation better. Even here, I should be leader for Dennis. I accidentally put the wrong thing. Just like that when cutting logs. I should go to bat for when exploited. Something's wrong. Dennis looks angry, but more than that, he looks nearly disappointed. I don't know what's going on here, I say. But we are here by mistake. Well, you have no business here, the man says. But now that the power is on, I think you might be too late anyway. For what, I ask. But he doesn't answer me. Instead, he steps forward and actually pushes Dennis backwards with the end of his rifle. That single act of aggression seemed to clue Dennis in how real this is getting. His eyes go wide with surprise as he hits the wall behind him. The man then repeats a question he asked before, one that makes no sense and honestly makes me think he might be a little crazy. Who sent you, he asks. You a-holes from the Pentagon? I'm not quite sure how to take this question. Is this guy joking? No, I'm not being stupid. No, I say. We're just loggers. Something blew up and my friend got hurt. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Likely story, the man says, but I see a flicker of recognition in his face that makes me think he might believe me. Still, his grip on the gun is as tight as ever. The look on his face makes me think he'll shoot at any moment. You both just stand still. He says, sooner or later, someone will come along and I'll turn you over. He again thrusts the gun forward, as if he has an invisible banquet on you. There's no need for that, I tell him. I have no guarantee that he won't pull the trigger. Look, then it says, we don't want any trouble. We're just as confused as you are. Then it is moving as fast as I just was about to miss it. Dennis lunges forward. I have no idea how he is moving so fast. Just 30 seconds ago, I was worried about how close to death he looked. But now he's moving lightning fast, the left arm coming down on the barrel of the gun like a club. In the commotion, the man does pull the trigger. The booming noise is defending, and there's a moment where I think I've been hit. It takes the clanging noise of the floor tearing into the floors at my feet to help me realize that I have not been shot. I look to the floor and see where the shot missed my right leg by less than 3 inches. I'm paralyzed and shocked for a moment as Dennis and the man fight over the position of the rifle. There's a fire extinguisher on the wall. I could use it as I blood again, but I might not have enough time to grab it before Dennis is overpowered. I'm going to grab the fire extinguisher and come back. I take the chance, dashing for the fire extinguisher, but my absence gives the man enough time to pop Dennis on the side of the head with the rifle. As I hear Dennis wail in pain, I rip the extinguisher from the wall and instantly lift it over my head. The man realizes that I'm doing as I come barreling across the room, but he's too late. I bring the extinguisher down quick. He doesn't have time to adjust the rifle for a clear shot. All he can do is partially block the bow, which he does poorly. I hit him between the neck and the shoulder in his right side. He hollers out and falls awkwardly to the ground. There's a dazed look on his face, and I wonder if I might have knocked him out for a moment. He still holds the gun, but his hands are limp. I feel the extinguisher heavy in my grip. I could hit him again to make sure he won't be a threat. No, we're gonna leave him alone. We're not gonna keep killing him. We're not gonna kill the man. He took it easy on the man. He's definitely out now. No threat. Or at least that's what I think. But he surprises me by mustering up one more swift kick in my direction, cutting with my forehead. My eyelids swell to the size of a gas almost immediately. It seems like the last attack is more to spite me than to defend himself. I stumble back, ready for myself for another round of blows, but he just slouches into the floor. He's done. Dennis grabs the rifle instantly, hands it over to me. I take it with shaking hands. He is still wincing from where Marcus knocked him while I headed for the fire extinguisher. Dennis looks at me like I'm being a stray dog that might bite him. It's a childish look, but in a way I deserve it. I could have helped him, but stood idle. Still, he says nothing else. He lets the situation play itself out, not wanting things to get tenser. What do we do now, boss? Dennis asks. We've come this far, and one answers. I sense that Dennis does too. I take a hand and look at the man before I reply. We get answers from this guy. No answers, the man says. I don't have any. Next time I won't just hit you, I say, punching the rifle towards him. Now get up. He obeys quickly, but his legs are wobbly and he leans against the wall for support. I can feel my swollen eyelid from where he kicked me earlier. I just hope it doesn't get so bad that it affects my sight. Okay, let's move, I say, pointing the gun further down the hallway. We've come this far, and I'm not going to let this guy stop us. We walk into the hallway until we come to a dead end. A single elevator waits for us. Its steel sliding door is larger than a normal elevator. That right there is a lot of reading. It's a lot of reading. Look at how much reading that is. For one thing, that is a lot. Okay, we're gonna go all the way back down now. Okay. Before I get into the elevator with this guy, I think it's wise to learn a bit more about him. I can tell it's making him uncomfortable for me to have the gun. What's your name, I ask. Marcus. And you work here? It's clear that he doesn't want an answer, but he gives us a little nod. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Any idea where they might be, I ask. No, he says curtly, not bothering to elaborate. There's got to be some useful info we can get out of this guy. I just need to know how to dig for it. I need a first aid kit for my friend here, I say. Where might I find one? Down on the second floor, he says, but we can't go down there. We're going down there, okay? It's on level 2. He looks at me like I'm an idiot. You must be aware you're inside of a classified government facility, he says. It makes sense, but I want to doubt it. Well, I'm sure our government would want you to help save my friend, so take me to the first aid kit. I can, he says. You don't have clearance. Heck, I barely have clearance. Then, seemingly to himself, he mutters, I make this place run. And not even a thank you. Just a bunch of restricted access rooms that I'm not allowed to go into with a frickin' chaperone. I interrupt his monologue. We're going to get that first aid kit. I could lose my job, he says. I wonder for a moment what sort of trouble I could get in for hitting a government employee. This makes me glad I took it all easy on him. Then again, we had to come up with a U.S. rifle. At us with a U.S. rifle, me think that here things go terribly wrong in this place. And the explosion in the woods, or whatever the heck happened, it might as well leak to it all. I need to convince him to take us to the second floor, but I'm not sure if it would be more productive to threaten him or ask him for sympathy. Ask for help. We're not going to be mean. We don't want them to be enemies. Look, I say, it hasn't been the best day. We're just trying to find out what's going on to find our crew to survive. I know that this isn't a normal situation down here. It looks like all the protocols have been blown to heck. Can't you help us out? He looks at me sternly, weighing his options. Okay, he says. Thank you, I say. With an uninterested stare, Marcus walks to the elevator door, approaching a small keypad by the door. He punches in a normal code on the keypad, and we can hear a slight mechanical hum behind the steel doors. After a few seconds of angry glances and frightening sneers from Marcus, the elevator arrives. The steel doors slide open with a whisper revealing the interior. Okay, so here we go. There's that. Okay. Okay. It's exceptionally well lit and looks to be made of stainless steel. I half expect the thing to take off at the speed of light. There's another small key button from the front right panel by the door, and there are options for 3 sub-level floors. Looks like this elevator doesn't go to the surface. So after we get a first aid kit for this, how do we get out of here, I ask. I can't leave, Marcus says. Once the power comes back on, the whole place was put in lockdown. What? I shout. Can't you override it? No, it's to prevent anything from getting out. I can't. Marcus looks as deaf-flared as Dennis. We can't get out. We're stuck here. Dennis looks into the corner and almost falls into the floor. The struggle for the rifle took out of him. I can see that much in his face. Slowly we start to move down. The hum and grind of the car's motors fill space. So we stuck here forever? Marcus scowls at me. I think it's a fair question. It doesn't seem unreasonable to assume he won't be able to get us out. Well, find somebody with the access codes, and they'll be begging me to figure out how to lift the lockdown. These people think they're so brilliant, but some of them can barely turn their computers on without help. With the top coder in my class at MIT, and I'm stuck living underground, helping idiots who don't even trust me with the keys. How big is this place? A viral question. It's a government facility of the highest security. Secrecy. Marcus says a research facility. It goes 4 stories underground, and quite frankly, it scares the piss out of me that you two got in here so easily. Why is that? I asked. This is a Black Ops graveyard, he replies. Even the CIA doesn't know about this place exists. What goes on here? Marcus shakes his head. You may as well shoot me. I can't tell you. Why not? It's beyond classified. And the things I know don't even cover the start of it. What does that mean? I asked, starting to get irritated. It means that if I wanted to tell you what sort of work is done here, I don't know enough about it. Why knock the lights out of you? Seems like some sort of power outage, Marcus says. That's all I know. There was an outage and then what? Dennis asked weakly. Then things got weird. Things got bad. Bad how? I asked. The whole place seemed to shake when the lights went out, and I was checking the monitors when it happened, and everything went dead. It took no more than a minute or so before I started hearing screams. People were being killed by something. I tried getting the security cameras going again, but they only lasted for a little bit on my backup systems. But what I saw, what? I asked, feeling sharp. A fear word. It's being winged right into my guts. Well, what I saw on the screens for that little bit of time made no sense. It made me get the gun from the emergency vault. I think whatever it is, it's still down here. Hold on, I say. This is an emergency vault with a rifle in the same room as the security cameras in this place. Marcus gives me a grin that looks nearly insane. There are guns locked away in every room in this place, just in case, you know. Just in case of what? As he opens his mouth to answer, the elevator comes to a stop. The door slides open. Marcus is out of words without a word. Right away without a word. He makes his exit and heads directly for a blasted room that is filled with computer monitors and high-tech equipment. Dennis and I file out behind him, trying to keep up as we do. One very alarming question runs through my mind. What the heck kind of government facility keeps loaded guns and emergency vaults in every single room? End of chapter 2. Thank you guys so much, as I say, for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to smash the like on this video and subscribe for more, because this video was really, 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 really amazing and fun. I like this kind of game. There's a lot of reading involved, but I think you can do it. Look at your choices in this episode. Next episode, I'm going to be doing this daily, so boom, have that in your face, and thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below if I made the right choices, because I doubt I did. So we're going to end it off here. Thank you so much, and goodbye.